And hello, and welcome to AleksConnects Creative Sandbox. My name is Alex, and let's continue our Fanart project, Angry Birds vs Transformers. Yeah, we're basically going to continue to work with this illustration, Angry Birds vs Transformers. Let's wait a second, I need to close everything. Yep, in the system to make things a little bit faster. What happened? Twitch for some reason gone into the dark mode. Not good. Okay, this is the session 49 already. We actually gone a long way. So yeah, sorry, I didn't prepare anything beforehand, so kinda last minute thing. So yeah, everything is open, everything is working. So let's just open our Krita, and then I will share a screen, of course. Okay, Krita in here. So yeah, in previous sessions we basically worked with the lighting, with actually values and with colors, and we tried to actually figure out the best way to represent values or represent colors without losing values. That was a pretty hard thing to do. Eventually I did it, which was pretty cool, but still a long way to go considering this project. So yeah, I think it's time to actually start. Yep, exactly that. And of course we don't see anything. Show yourself. Screen. Now it has to work. Yep. Okay, so yeah, previously we for the most part worked with colors. We tried to depict the proper colors for this particular illustration, and at the end of the previous session I actually worked a little bit on the design elements for the walls, and the question was, and still kinda, no, actually right now I know what to do next, but before that question was where we need to go from here. Just turn on our sketch thing. Yeah, the question was where to go from this point, because there's a lot of place to go for we could work with lighting first and figure out how light is going to work. We could go with material first, and then after materials work on light. We could go and dive in right away into the creating final line art or design. The question is what needs to be first, and I decided that logically the first thing we need to do is to actually work with materials, because materials are usually light is usually affected by materials, and if if I'm going to work on light now, or working with lighting, and what I mean by working with lighting is actually figured out the proper darks and lights for light areas and shadow areas for every specific value and color that we depicted, by analyzing the strength, color, and the placement of the light sources that we have in our work. So it's going to be by itself super hard thing to do because we have a lot of light sources. How many? We have 3 types of light sources in our work: primary, secondary, tertiary. No, 4, and additional. But again, additional for the most part is not going to be necessarily considered as a light source, so let's just keep it to 3: primary, secondary, and tertiary. But tertiary light actually has 4 lights in it. Fire outside of the picture frame, that will affect everything in here, and it's going to be the dominant one. So basically primary inside tertiary. Secondary inside tertiary is going to be this light, which of course is going to be a fire that will affect slightly the bomb, and for the most part this helmet, or not helmet, but yeah, the transformer's head. Also probably slightly Quintessa, or not, no, it's not going to affect Quintessa, maybe somewhere in here. Also this light actually going to affect Quintessa too. This is, and also Quintessa is going to be affected by the top light that is going to shine from the ceiling, which is going to be our sunlight. Tertiary inside the tertiary is going to affect bomb for the most part. It will help us to actually create slight separation and slight rim light for the bomb that will help us to actually divide him from the background, which is pretty cool. Also this fire probably will affect slightly the statues, so as this light will slightly affect this statue. This light of course slightly will affect this statue, but I don't think that we will see that much of it because for the most part the angle of incidence for the reflective surface is not going to be shown at this particular point. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. Maybe we could put a couple of highlights in here and there, but it's definitely needs to be slight or subtle depiction. Okay then, again, the session is going to be super short and it's going to be an hour session. That's why I kind of need to, for the most part throughout the session, I'm just going to figure out how to work with materials and make the main preparation how to work with materials, because it was decided that I'm going to work with materials first, because it's the most important thing at this point. And we have a lot of things when it comes down to understanding what type of materials these creatures are going to represent. And I still don't know how actually to do this, because ideally, as I would approach everything, I would approach it with creating some type of nodes. Yep, so let's just get rid of this one, free this space. Also, we will turn off our information about light sources because I kind of know where they are. Again, primary light source on the top is going to shine on our table and it's going to create some type of a, I don't know, glare, I don't know, some type of like shining effect on our characters, and it's going to be warm one. These are going to be warm too, but they're going to be super weak, and for the most part this light source is going to be the secondary one, and it will create the cool area light that will even affect these areas, because again, the strength or the intensity of the fire, it's not enough to actually overwrite the strength of the area light. So yeah. Again, we're working for the most part with spotlight, area light, and point light. Point light is our fire, piles of fire, area light is our atmosphere, and spotlight is our sunlight. I decided to represent it as a spotlight because it's going to shine and create a specific area of... I need to create a specific area that sun will affect, so that's why it's kind of spotlight, because it shines through a hole in the ceiling. Okay. Okay. So there's no artificial lights in here. The only artificial lights in here are the transformers' eyes and glowing parts of the environment. Quintessa's eyes. These are so-called artificial lights, and everything else is natural light. I don't know if you would call the fire as a natural light. I think it's natural, although it's kind of created by specific conditions. But fire actually can start itself, so that kind of makes it without human involvement. Yeah, so let's call the fire actually the not artificial light, it's natural light. So yeah. Okay, let's turn off the formation, and right here I actually going to create marks and notes for our materials. So again, it's pretty easy to do. We already have most of the information actually depicted in here. We have floor, we have chairs, we have table accessories, we have in between what? Oh, character poses, okay, accessories including table and tablecloth, chairs, statues, surrounding details, garbage piles, transformer parts, interior floor, ceiling, gate, walls, Quintessa under the table. So for the most part, all subjects we already have, so I don't think that we need to rewrite them. Let's just copy them, it's going to be faster. Just copy everything in here. Paste it, because it's going to take me a long time to actually rewrite everything, so instead I'm just going to So what do we have? We have floor, we have chairs, we have table, we have tablecloth. For every subject we need to understand what type of material we're going to use. And not just like understand what type of material is going to be, but how to actually create this material. Because I think everyone understands, for the most part, tables are either wooden or plastic. Floor, for the most part, could be a couple of different type of materials, pretty versatile. Chairs, for the most part, wooden, steel, plastic. But again, could be a glass chair, I don't know. Tablecloth, for the most part, just some type of cloth. We definitely going to dive into a specific cloth clothing. Come on, forget the word. So basically, clothes are usually different, of course. Like, there's a lot of things that go into cloth. So, what else we have? By the way, let's keep these chairs instead of these, because parts of the transformers is much more important thing to have. Accessories, yeah, we actually have a lot of accessories. I think we will separate them later. It's not relevant that Quintessa under the table at this point, just Quintessa. Interior, we already depicted floor. I think I will keep floor, ceiling, gate, and walls the same material. I don't think that I need to create something drastically different in material, so I'm going to keep them as one. Their slight changes are going to happen, but for the most part I think we will keep floor, ceiling, gate as one particular material. Tablecloth, table accessories, chairs in forms of the parts of the transformers for the most part. Their heads. Statues. Definitely going to be the same material. I think definitely need to add a sword or swords in here. There. Let's hope this is the right spelling. Let's hope this is the right spelling. I could check this out. Swords. So again, before working with materials, of course, you need to establish what all your subjects that could have different materials. At least it helps me to actually not keep all these things in my head. Instead of just keeping everything in my head, I'm just putting this in list, and then I have reference what type of materials I need to use, and I'm actually freeing place in my head for much more important things to do, instead of thinking about all these different type of materials. It's just a good way of organizing things. Okay, surrounding details definitely need to be deleted. Actually, I think if I would write it down, it would be faster probably. Pile of ashes, additional part. There's a couple of those are going to be, this is going to be actually a question. How to properly place them and depict them. Okay, let's see. Are we done or not with materials? Again, as I said before, table accessories are definitely going to be extended. There's going to be a lot of them. Yes, so I think we actually need to create a different column for them. Just put table accessories in here, because there's going to be a lot of them. Okay, floor, ceiling, gate, walls, for the most part, is going to be the same. Chairs, statues, piles of ashes, and Quintessa, everything in here is actually going to be pretty close to one particular material. Let's just group them together for better understanding. Probably garbage piles and piles of ashes are going to be a little bit different, because it's going to be changed material. Probably. It doesn't matter in what order they actually placed, but the reason why I'm actually placing them in the particular order, because I think we need that. So first statues, then chairs, actually, to make it a little bit smaller, then Quintessa, then piles of ashes. No, piles of ashes is going to be on the bottom, because garbage piles from the Transformers parts, it's actually going to be parts of the chairs for the most part. So these are actually connected. That means that we probably need to place them to each other. Let's actually separate Quintessa from Transformers. And piles of ashes are going to be like completely destroyed or melted, or I don't know, metal. Again, the reason why I'm actually creating an order for them, because we are going to create specific material for this one, and we're just going to duplicate this material with slight changes in every part. And that's why we need to probably better to organize this thing. Then Quintessa, then probably a sword. And then the table. The reason why table, like the last one, because for the most part we're not going to see that much of a table, so it's not super important information. I'm going to keep it for later. Although maybe because this is not important information, we need to figure out it fast, like the first one. And of course, let's just pick up our table accessories. So okay, first thing that we are going to have in table accessories is a teacups. Every teacups are going to be the same, so let's just showcase that. Teacups. Second one is teapot. Teapots. Pew pew. Okay. Then we are going to put a plates. For teapots. For the most part, they're actually going to be the same material, I think. That's why we'll probably need to combine them the same as for the floor, ceiling, gate, and walls. Yeah, let's just combine them, because they're actually going to be from one set. I don't know how this one actually called properly, so we will improvise. Figure out something. I need to figure out the name that could be clear for me to understand. Okay, let's just call it some type of stand. Stand is definitely going to be from different material. Stand for sweets. Yes, stand for sweets. Definitely going to be different material. Sweets themselves, they are going to be different material. And there's probably going to be a lot of different variations of it. By the way, I forgot to create a plate for bomb too. I think we need to place it somewhere in here. Or in here. Probably in here. Closer to the chuck. Just definitely need to think about it. Okay, sweets. Definitely going to be different material. Fruits. Fruits definitely going to be different material too. Ah, oh, come on. So fruits, we already have tablecloth, again table accessories only. Seriously? Having troubles with terminology, so going through search to find the proper way to use a word. Okay, whatever. Let's just call this one board for teapot. Or protection board for teapot. I don't know. I don't know how they called in English. Okay, teacups, teapot, and plates, they're going to be the same material. Stand for sweets. There's not going to be a sugar anywhere, so I don't think that we need that. Also, there's no point for spoons, for the small spoons. There's a lot of sweets here that you just could eat with your hands, and also they're Angry Birds. I don't imagine them using spoons or something like this. Forks. It's pretty strange. Plate for oranges, I think, going to be the same. All plates, I think it's going to work the same, yeah. Okay, sweets, fruits, that's kind of it. The last one is just call it protective board. Because again, don't know how it's called in English properly. For teapot. I'm talking about this one. Okay, let's save. These elements, I think they have to have a little bit different type of material, maybe. I don't know, this is something to consider. Or not. No, actually, by having the same material for this thing and for the wall itself, we actually will create cohesion between them. And it's not going to separate them. They're going to be different in value, but other than that, they're going to be as one. So using materials and textures, it's actually a good way to create cohesion by putting the same textures and materials or similar. And if you want to create a contrast to differentiate things, of course, you're doing the opposite. Putting different materials completely different from one another. I think we kind of, yeah, I didn't forget anything though. Angry Birds, yeah. We forgot for the materials for the birds themselves, so this is super important. Actually, it needs to be the first one. Materials. Kind of it. So again, birds, table, floor, ceiling, gate. For the gate, actually, I'm talking about probably this part. Maybe actually we need to separate it. Let's just separate gate. I think we definitely could create different material for them. But floor, walls, and ceiling is definitely going to be the same material, or at least close. No, let's just separate walls. I want to create different material for the walls, because I kind of want to create a little bit slight separation between them. Don't have place for the worlds. Usually could just make it smaller it's not a problem. We're still going to see everything. Shoot. Okay, so birds, table, floor, ceiling. Yeah, floor and ceiling definitely needs to be different material because, or no, the same, because they having the same value. Tablecloth, of course, going to have actually two different materials. The border and the cloth itself. But still, one. Statues, all statues are going to be the same. Chairs, parts of the transformers, they're actually going to be kind of the same but slightly different because they're going to be damaged. So these are not going to be that much damaged, but these are going to be damaged, and that's why it's not drastically different material, but different with changes. Garbage piles, again, the same. It's just going to be a different transformer parts, and since they're actually going to be on fire, for the most part we need to create a damage, we need to create the sides signs of that these parts are actually gone through war. It will completely change the material. The same goes for the piles of ashes, of course, because it's just going to be probably completely different material. If I actually will keep the pile of ashes, it's still something that I didn't consider. But knowing what I'm going to use, it's a good way to prepare myself. Two quick changes. Okay, Quintessa, definitely going to be a little bit different material. As I said before, in actual film movie, Quintessa has different material separate from the Transformers, at least visually. Maybe not in this necessarily molecular way, but visually it looks different. So probably everything is metal, so of some kind of a metal, but it looks different. So that means that material is going to actually have different properties. Okay, Quintessa, swords. Yeah, swords definitely going to be different material. Gate. By gate, usually I mean this area, because I still don't know what we need to put in this area. Either it's just going to be light shining from there and we're not going to see anything outside, or I actually need to create something outside. That's why it's kind of a different material. I'm not talking about this thing necessarily, or if, yeah, maybe we need to think about this one. And of course walls. That's kind of it. Everything is, and yeah, and table accessories, of course. We have teacups, we have teapots, we have plates. It includes this plate too. We have sweets, which is of course going to be a different material. We have stand for these sweets, which is going to be a probably from a couple of materials. Fruits, 3 different type of fruits. Of course, will create slightly different material, but all in all, they're going to be similar in properties. Protective board for teapot. I will decide what this actually going to be. Yeah. Again, today's session is just preparation. I'm not going to dive into these things yet. Let's just do this. So these are the subjects. These are the subjects, and right here it's going to be a material properties. I hope it's right spelling. Let's check this out. Properties. Yep. So yeah, right here we're actually going to depict material properties. Actually, let's just create it on a different layer. It's going to be easier to manipulate if we need some changes. Okay, that's it. Organizing things a bit. Get rid of excessive information. I know that chairs are from Transformers parts, I know that garbage piles from Transformers parts, and the same goes with these. Just make them a little bit more. Actually, for material properties, it's going to be a long list. We need more information for it, so there's going to be a type of material and then properties, and properties are going to be a lot of them. And it's going to be a type. So yeah, materials type, the subjects, and material properties. These are going to be super important things to understand. Yeah, whatever, let's keep them in this place. Again, just preparation. I love to organize things because by organizing I don't know, for me it's makes things a little bit easier. make things a little bit prettier. And type of the material is going to be blue. Good. Actually, let's just get rid of these swatches. I kinda don't think that we need them at all. Save changes. So yeah, for the most part, I'm going to talk about types of materials and material properties later. Also, we need to remember that every bird is going to have slight differentiations in properties, but I'm going to try to actually think of them as one, because and then just implement slight differences on a go, because if we're going to actually depict the properties for every of the birds, it's going to be too long, because they have a lot of things. So beak is going to have different materials, these are going to have different materials, the eyes, legs, and etc. So every part of their body is going to have slightly different material to them. So I'm going to probably I actually probably need to make this list a little bit bigger. Because when I'm thinking about birds, I'm thinking about feathers, and I just could depict only for feathers information, but it's not the end. We have beaks, we have eyes, different parts of the... It's definitely going to be slightly different. I think I actually had to create this one a little bit earlier. Why does it work? Yep. Okay, let's keep it like this. And in the remaining time, let's just draw a plate in the proper place. I want to draw it on a different layer because there is going to be a lot of overlapping in here. Putting plate here kind of makes things a little bit busy, but at the same time, this place either way is going to be busy, busy, because a lot of happening in here, and this is actually where the chuck is looking at. So, but at the same time, I kind of want to make things a little bit clearer in here for viewer to focus on only this part. So definitely not going to be here. Wait a minute. We actually could place a plate in the hand of the bomb's hand, which actually will be much more cooler thing to do. It will add to contrast, and at the same time it's going to be pretty cool looking, like bomb holding a plate with the left wing, and with the right wing he's sipping a tea, like delicately, because right here is not delicate pose at all, but I think we definitely need to do that. Yep, exactly. Cool. So assuming it's going to be somewhere in here. And part of this plate, of course, is going to be held by his wing. So actually we're not going to see this part of the plate probably. It's going to be slightly erased. Let's just assume that he's holding a plate in here, because I don't have any place to place this cup or this plate in here. Although we could, so realistically it is the place for it, but I don't want to place it because it's going to kill the empty spaces around and it's going to be overcrowded. I don't want that. Okay, oh yeah, actually this part needs to be here. Forgot about this. This is the holder. Okay, so Bomb is actually holding a cup of tea in his right hand, let's call it hand. In the left hand he's holding his plate under the cup of tea. This is actually going to be even funnier because the look at the Red's face is going to tell us that he don't like how Bomb is behaving himself. So this is actually pretty cool, like seriously. And of course this one by itself and this one by itself. So the only interaction that we have is in here, in here, and in here. So right here actually interaction stops, but the viewer's eye still continues in here to the fruits and goes in here. This could direct us right here or right into the gate, from where again we could go whatever we want. Of course there's a dynamic in here too. Okay then, so yeah, I'm going to slightly end the session, or slightly slowly end the session. Again, for the most part, we prepared everything for working with materials. We established the subject that we're going to create materials for. We establish the type of materials. For the most part is going to be I still need to think about what we need to write in the type. Maybe in type of material we need to write something like wood or feathers. Yeah, those. So type material is going to be wood, feathers, metal, garment, metal, 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 and walls are going to be somewhat metal too, but different. So yeah, I guess in type of materials we're going to write this one, and material properties are going to be the breakdown of this type of material and its differentiations, which is going to be definitely interesting thing to do. And still have a question that actually, like, I think I need to create birds, create a separate table like this for birds only, because again, birds are pretty versatile. I think we actually need to do that. The same for the table accessories, I think. By the way, let's do that in the last minutes and the remaining minutes, because birds I definitely need to have a separate table to them. It's going to be similar to this one. I think I'm just going to copy it and that's it. What? I don't know why I copied them. At the end I just deleted them. Actually I need to copy this one. Again, for birds, it's going to be a little bit different. So birds are going to have different types. So body itself. Let's call it overall body. Let's call it overall body. This is like the most of the Angry Birds look. So this is just basically this part. Then we are going to have eyes, beak, sorry about that. No, this is not proper layer to do that. Okay. So beak, eyes, what else? Brows, they're definitely going to be a different material. By the way, beak and legs are going to be from the same material, so let's just put legs here too. Okay, and the last part is this thing. I don't know how it's properly called though. Let's just call it feathers. Yeah, individual feathers. Let's just call it like this. Individual feathers. Good. Actually, continuing this thing here. Bird's overall body. The last thing that I'm probably going to do is just to make sure that we understand the separations. Although they're pretty clear, but still. Why not accentuate them? Make them as one. Save. And color it in this color just to understand. Nope. Let's just Where are our colors? These things are a little bit time consuming, but usually I'm benefiting from them a lot. They actually help me to organize things in my brain, because sometimes things are that happening in my brain, complete mess. It's pretty hard to sort them out and control them when you have a lot of things to think about. Yep. So yeah, that's why we just basically established that these graphs, or whatever it is, tables, by tables I mean chart,
table
or chart, let's just call it chart.
Table.
Yeah, chart looks better. So yeah, these charts is just basically representing subjects. So table accessories as a subject, which will differentiate in subjects, and birds the same. This type of preparations and organization not for everyone, of course. It looks super tedious and unnecessary, especially for probably a creative oriented person. But why wouldn't you use your left side of the brain to make things easier for your right side of the brain? Because the more things we actually will solve technically, the more we are going to leave for creative side. That's going to mean that our creative side is just going to be free, because everything that we need to solve already been solved in here, and our creative side just needs to be free and create whatever she wants, or he wants, or it wants, I don't know. So yeah, I think that's it. I still need to place at least one placeholder in here, because we're gonna have table, floor, ceiling, statues. For now, let's just place ceiling in there, or not. What is the different material? I know. Additional material is going to be a background. Backgrounds right here. So we definitely need to place something in here, and background's definitely going to be something different. So yeah, we kind of prepared everything that we wanted to prepare, and next session we actually going to dive into determining the types of materials, material properties for each subject in our scene. And of course we are not just going to like write them, we're actually going to play them how they're going to work with each other. So choices that are going to be made in these charts are going to be controlled by design, composition, and all these awesome things that we established earlier: mood, spatial limitations, type of lights, visibility, the placement of lights, and all these things, and also all this information that we had. So basically everything that we established so far in here and here, in proportions, in constructions, it's going to work with determining materials. Okay, not everything, but most of the things. It's definitely going to be an interesting thing to work with. So yeah, let's save, and on that note we will end this session. Thank you for watching this creative session. Thank you for being here. Have a nice day or night, and I guess we see you in the next session when we're going to work with materials. Exactly that. Again, for the most part, working with materials is pretty hard, so it's definitely not going to be an easy thing to do, but overall I think I will learn a lot from it, and hope you will learn something too. So this is the whole point. So yeah, on that note, we'll say bye bye.